Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we're going to see what the evil turtle is. Among all the curious, and also quite entertaining, requests I've recently received on the channel, there odd hides a voracious, aggressive, and destructive being whose amusement consists of biting everything in its path. The most disturbing thing is that it shows no affection toward those who should be its caretakers. Gumball, Darwin, Richard, and Nicole. There is no emotional connection, only primal instincts. The existence of this strange character comes down to two primal drives: reproducing and biting. This simplicity makes it disturbingly effective as a miniature villain. But what truly makes the evil turtle fascinating is not only its behavior, but also its design. Clearly inspired by the classic archetypes of monsters from horror and science fiction cinema, adding an extra layer of dark humor. It is a parodic homage that works as both critique and tribute, making it one of the most memorable antagonists in modern animation, especially within Gumball's irreverent humor. In this analysis, I will dive deep into every facet of the evil turtle, from its origins and the intentions behind its creation to its multiple appearances in the series. I will give a detailed review of the key episodes where it appears, analyzing its physical appearance, its offspring, its behavior, temperament, motivations, abilities, and vulnerabilities. This journey will not be just a description, but a deep exploration of how such a strange character manages to become an icon within its own universe. Our first encounter with this creature happens in the third season of The Amazing World of Gumball, specifically in the episode titled The Puppy. The story begins with Gumball and Darwin devising the perfect plan to convince their father, Richard, to buy them a puppy. The idea stems from childlike innocence, the belief that a pet will bring immediate happiness and endless adventures. But when they finally gather the courage to ask, they discover that Richard has disappeared without warning. The mystery intensifies when Richard returns home carrying two objects: a sandwich, as always, a nod to the absurd humor of the series, and a mysterious closed box. The children's curiosity explodes almost instantly. Gumball and Darwin interrogate their father with a mix of anxiety and excitement. Richard, always carefree and erratic, explains that he saw on television a monkey arguing that puppies were far cuter than dogs. Inspired by that absurd logic, he left home intending to get them a puppy, but returns with a sandwich and a mysterious box. When his children ask what is inside the box, Richard confidently assures them it is a puppy. Gumball and Darwin's disappointment is immediate, as they had carefully prepared an emotional speech to convince him to buy a dog. However, that disappointment quickly turns into intrigue. Upon opening the box, the expectation is completely shattered. Instead of the adorable puppy they imagined, they find a grotesque creature, a cross between a turtle and a monster, with an appearance as disturbing as it is ridiculous. The brothers try to make sense of what they're seeing. Darwin even jokes that it might be a living, angry green hat. That moment perfectly encapsulates the absurd and satirical humor of the series. The ridiculous and the unsettling coexist in the same scene. Shortly after, Nicole returns home carrying shopping bags and comes across her children staring at the box as if it were a direct gateway to hell. With a tone of warning, she tells them she hopes there is neither a dog nor a puppy inside. Gumball, without hesitation, assures her there isn't. Nicole, though somewhat disappointed, seizes the opportunity to remind them of an important lesson. Having a pet is not a game. It requires responsibility, time, and commitment. But that moment of reflection is broken when, peeking inside the box, she sees the creature. Her reaction is immediate: shock, disbelief, and a mix of humor and horror. She demands to know what Richard has brought home. With full certainty, Richard responds that it is a Labrador. It is then that the evil turtle lets out a grotesque growl, making it clear that it finds the comparison far from amusing. Amid the chaos, Gumball and Darwin try to disown all responsibility, making it clear they didn't decide to get the creature. However, Nicole, with a mixture of resignation and determination, reminds them that they must now take responsibility for caring for it. She assigns them tasks, establishing that, even though it wasn't their choice, the evil turtle is now part of the family. From that moment on, their lives will change forever, and the family dynamic will be marked by the arrival of this peculiar and dangerous companion. Later that same day, the children try to take the first step toward what could become a friendly, or at least tolerable, relationship, but what follows is a scene worthy of the darkest comedy. Armed with enthusiasm and goodwill, the children cautiously approach the evil turtle's tank. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais follow the instructions to the letter. The turtle reacts unexpectedly and violently. In an instant, it opens its jaw and bites Gumball's hand with surprising force. He acknowledges that his children's concern makes sense, but clings to an absurd personal rule. He would only be willing to give it away if the turtle committed a truly unforgivable act. As if fate wanted to prove him right, at that very moment a piercing scream from Nicole interrupts the conversation. The mother insists the turtle has committed an unspeakable atrocity. The next scene shows the whole family gathered in a desolate parking lot, searching for the mythical, amazing store, where Richard supposedly acquired the creature. The atmosphere is tense and frustrating, mixed with the absurd humor that characterizes the series. Gumball, always perceptive, reaches a disturbing conclusion. That store was not a conventional shop, but a roaming van that sold strange animals. But when they try to find it, they discover it has vanished without a trace. With no other options, the Wattersons are forced to return home, determined to devise a new plan to track down the mysterious vehicle and resolve the crisis they have caused. Sheds a tear that, upon touching the creature's dry skin, produces a miraculous effect. The turtle comes back to life before everyone's astonished eyes. But far from remaining calm, the evil turtle comes back with overwhelming force. It flees in terror across the road, causing chaos in its wake, until within seconds it is hit head-on by a car. What happens next defies all logic. The vehicle is completely destroyed. Convinced that his terror was the key, excitedly insists irreversible disaster in the city. After a series of incidents in which both Gumball and Darwin end up attacked, it is Anais who, with coldness and ingenuity, manages to trap the turtle inside an improvised water container. The tension reaches its peak. Anais, in a firm voice, declares that this being is too dangerous to remain free and that the only sensible thing is to watch over it until it dies. But then Nicole, with a grave tone full of warning, utters a phrase that freezes the air. Turtles can live for more than a century. At the close of the episode, the tension reaches its climax. The evil turtle, wounded but steadfast, turns its gaze toward the camera. It is not a casual glance. It is a gesture loaded with threat, imbued with a dark aura that leaves the viewer with an unsettling and lingering feeling. That final shot is not just a conclusion. It is a warning. The story of this being is not over, and it will not be a final goodbye. The evil turtle does not disappear and calls Gumball and Darwin, who rush to her aid. The scene turns into a mix of chaos and tension, with close-up shots capturing surprise and fear. After the relieved, but female, according to her analysis, the creature had abandoned its home because it was pregnant, and its aggression unraveled the full background of its story. It is time to delve into a deeper description of the evil turtle. Its physical appearance, that of its offspring, its behavior, personality, strengths, and vulnerabilities. This creature is not a simple cartoon character. It is an amalgamation of biological horror and absurd satire, carefully designed to impact both visually and emotionally. According to Richard, This being would be nothing more than a common softshell turtle, something harmless and domestic. However, Anais contradicts him sharply, providing a surprising scientific precision. She claims it is a Trionyx triunguis, a species native to Africa, known for its aggressiveness and adaptability. This fact opens the door to a disturbing hypothesis. The famous Amazing store that sold it could have obtained it directly from that continent, or through a clandestine network of traders specializing in exotic fauna. This idea adds a dark and mysterious element to its origin, turning it into something more than just a grotesque pet. Short, but muscular, ending in blade-like sharp claws. Its neck, long and wrinkled, seems to move on its own, leading to the most disturbing feature: its head. The face is grotesque and memorable. Lips of intense pink that seem to pulsate, yellowish protruding eyes filled with a penetrating gaze, and a snout that merges into an elongated, pointed muzzle. This combination gives it an almost alien color, although they maintain the basic structure of the species. In miniature, akin to baby crocodiles than turtles. This chromatic and anatomical diversity suggests a surprising evolutionary capacity within their species. The temperament of the evil turtle is equally singular. It seems driven by a single instinct: to attack by biting anything that crosses its path, showing no respect for social norms or the inhabitants of the amazing world of Gumball. Its motivations are reduced to 3 clear axes: biting, feeding to increase its strength, and protecting its offspring, thereby ensuring its expansion. The hatchlings act like an organized colony. They follow their mother almost militarily, moving in swarms and responding to her leadership. When the mother is absent, their instinct drives them to disperse and conquer territory, causing chaos and destruction in their path. This behavior reflects a level of social organization comparable to that of some predatory species in nature, adding a disturbing nuance to their fictional biology. The evil